Have you ever lain your head on your pillow, closed your eyes, and realized your mind won't stop talking? Even when the world outside is quiet, your thoughts keep spinning, like a carousel of worries you never bought a ticket for. You try to rest, but sleep feels far away. You try to pray, but the words feel stuck somewhere between your heart and your lips. Tonight is one of those nights. Maybe you've done everything you could today and still feel like it wasn't enough. Perhaps you're carrying silent regrets, invisible weights, or a deep tiredness that no one else sees. But here's the truth. You don't have to fall asleep strong. You don't have to end the day with all the answers. You have to come as you are, with your weary heart, your busy thoughts, your quiet ache, and say one simple prayer. Not a perfect one, not a fancy one, just an honest whisper to heaven. Because of that whisper, it's enough. God hears it. And more than that, He leans in close to hold you as you pray it. Let your shoulders relax. Let your jaw unclench. Let the stillness of this moment settle around you like a soft blanket. That text you regret sending, that decision you're still overthinking. Is it the fear that tomorrow will be harder than today? You don't have to pray perfectly for Him to listen. He is drawn to the honest, the broken, the humble heart that says, I don't have it all together, Lord, but I'm here. The kind of rest that doesn't come from a vacation or a nap, but from finally, truly trusting, but with a real, trembling faith. Lord, I give it to you. Everything. Let it wrap around you like God's arms, steady, warm, and unshakably present. You are not alone tonight. Heaven is closer than you think. And as you surrender in this one simple whisper, watch what God begins to do, not just while you sleep, but deep within your soul. The weight I've been carrying, the thoughts I can't silence, the people I'm worried about, the things I can't control. I release it all to you. I want to rest tonight, but more than that, I want to trust you. Trust you enough to sleep while you work. Trust you enough to stop striving. Trust you enough to whisper this prayer and believe that you will cover me with peace, not because I deserve it, but because you are that good. Trusting that God is big enough to handle what you can't, that heaven has not forgotten your name, that peace is still possible, even tonight, especially tonight. That's enough for Him. You are enough for Him, not because of what you've done, but because of who He is, and He is love, not a distant love, not a cold, hard-to-reach love, but a love that sits beside you on the edge of your bed, a love that tucks you in when the world feels unsafe, a love that whispers peace over your tired soul. Or maybe it's deeper, a sense of unworthiness, a feeling like you've failed again. Whatever it is, name it now. How many moments have you held yourself together when you were actually falling apart? God saw every one of them. He counted every tear, not as weakness, but as precious offerings of a heart trying its best. And tonight, He's not asking you to be stronger. He's not asking you to try harder. He's asking you to let Him hold it, hold the grief, hold the fear, hold the future. He is not just the God of mountaintop moments. He is the God of midnight breakdowns, of quiet sobs, of whispered prayers that say, I don't even know what to say, not out loud, not in a long speech, just in a whisper between you and God. Whisper it as you breathe out. He knows, He sees, He understands, and still He stays. About letting go of what was never yours to carry in the first place. You see, peace doesn't come from having everything under control. Peace comes when you realize who is in control. And it's not you. It never was. and thank God for that. Because while you sleep, He is still working. While you dream, He is still defending. While your body rests, His Spirit moves on your behalf in ways you can't even see. That's why this one prayer matters. Not because it changes God's heart, but because it changes yours. It opens your clenched hands. It quiets your racing thoughts. It invites God to be what He already is, your refuge, your peace, your shepherd in the night. You don't need to perform tonight. You don't need to impress heaven. You need to be still enough to remember this. God is near, not just in churches or on mountaintops or during good days. He is near right now, in the quiet, in the chaos, in the messiness of your thoughts and the softness of this night. He is near because He promised never to leave you, and He keeps His promises. So, before you try to sleep, take a breath. Tonight is not about fixing everything. It's not about making sense of all the pain or controlling what happens tomorrow. It's about surrender. So, what do you need to release tonight? Is it that conversation that didn't go well? Perhaps no one mentioned this to you today, but you don't have to earn God's nearness. Think of how many nights you've cried without anyone knowing. This is your invitation to rest, real rest, not just physical, but soul-deep rest. Let's say this prayer together, not with fancy words, not with a script. Now let that prayer settle into you. Let it echo through the silence. What if the reason you've been so restless lately isn't because something is wrong with you, but because your soul is craving something deeper than your routine has offered? Sometimes we blame our exhaustion on the world outside, on the tasks undone, on the noise and pressure. But the deepest tiredness doesn't come from doing too much. It comes from holding on to long-to fears, timelines, and burdens that were never meant for your hands. And tonight, heaven is gently inviting you to set them down, giving your anxiety to the one who says He will sustain you. This isn't about giving up. This is about giving over. Giving your expectations to the one who already sees how tomorrow unfolds. Giving your whole self, tired and unfinished and unsure, to the one who loves you as you are. There's a reason Jesus didn't say, "Come to me when you're strong, confident, and in control." He said, "Come to me when you're weary. Come to me when you're burdened. Come to me when you've exhausted all your strategies." Because in that honest moment of surrender, not on the outside, not instantly in your circumstances, is it a relationship that feels uncertain? A financial worry that follows you even into dreams? A fear that you might never really be okay again? The kind that fills your room with quiet comfort. The type that replaces the sharp edges in your mind with soft truths. You are loved, you are seen, you are safe. Even if you don't feel that way, those things are still true. Measure it by this one thing. Did you give it to God? The God who sees every star sees you. The God who calms every sea is calming your heart right now. Not with sudden thunder or lightning, but with a quiet kind of strength. The kind that helps you sleep when everything around you is still unresolved. The kind that holds your hand even when you feel alone. The kind that says, "I'm here, I've always been here, and I'm not letting go." If you did, even in a whisper, even with shaking hands, then something holy has already begun. It's what ushers you into rest. And as you whisper it again, "Lord, I give it to you," you are placing your life, your pain, your hope into hands that will never drop you, into a heart that has only ever wanted your good, into arms that will hold you even when you forget how to pray. You've opened a space for heaven to move. You've invited peace to take the place of panic. You've chosen trust over control. This is how heaven covers you. Not because you've been perfect, but because God has always been faithful. Let that be enough tonight. Let that truth soften you. Let it lead you to a rest deeper than sleep, a rest rooted in trust, a peace that doesn't have to wait for morning. It's here now, and it's yours. And that choice, even if it's hard, will carry you further than any worry ever could. God is not dependent on your feelings. His love isn't fragile. His care isn't conditional. Even in your most uncertain moments, He is steady. Especially then, lay it down. Not because it's small, but because God is big. You were never expected to carry all of this. And that's the beauty of grace. And that means rest isn't just a biological function. It's a gift, a promise. Maybe you prayed in the past and nothing changed. Maybe you whispered your heartache and all you got was silence. But I want to remind you of something tender and true. Silence is not the absence of sound. Sometimes God is working so deeply that it takes time before we see the surface shift. Sometimes He is protecting us in ways we won't understand until later. And sometimes He's just holding us close, not changing the circumstance, but changing our spirit in the middle of it. And that, too, is a miracle, a reminder that you don't have to earn peace, you only have to receive it. But receiving means making room, making space in your heart, clearing out some of the clutter, the should-haves, the what-ifs, the maybe I am not enough thoughts. You weren't created to sleep under pressure. You were created to sleep under grace. And grace never rushes you. Grace whispers, "Come, lie down here." You don't have to keep fixing yourself tonight. You have to trust me. It meets you where your strength ends and reminds you that you are still held, still chosen, and still surrounded by mercy. But in the invisible places, in your chest where the tightness lives, in your thoughts where the noise hums, something powerful about saying, "I don't have all the answers, but I trust the one who does." That's not denial, that's faith. That's what it looks like to fall asleep in peace. And it begins with one prayer, not a long one, just a breath, just a whisper. "Lord, I give it to you again. Even the things I already gave you yesterday, but picked back up today. Even the things I don't know how to name. I surrender it all to you because I trust that while I sleep, you are covering me." In your heart, where you've been quietly breaking, that's where peace begins. Not as a shout, but as a whisper. Not as a storm that gets silenced, but as a new awareness that God is already with you in the boat. Something miraculous begins. So ask yourself gently, what are you still clinging to tonight? There's something holy about choosing to rest when your mind tells you to panic. Now think about that. Heaven is covering you, not with a blanket of empty promises, but with real, divine protection. The covering that watches over your dreams. There's a verse that says God gives sleep to those He loves. Perhaps part of you is afraid to let go because you've been let down before. So tonight, don't measure the effectiveness of your prayer by how fast the pain goes away. Now breathe not just with your lungs, but with your soul. Breathe knowing that you're not abandoned, you're not invisible, you're not too broken. This one prayer is not a spell, it's not a magic phrase, it's a doorway, a threshold between your stress and your surrender. This is how you fall asleep in peace. You've made it through the day, maybe not perfectly, maybe not without doubts or stumbles, but you made it. And now, As night wraps itself around your home and the world grows quiet, your soul begins to whisper what it didn't have time to say during the rush. It says things like, "I'm still hurting, I'm still confused, I'm still carrying this." That smile you gave during the day didn't tell the whole story. And now, along with the stillness, it's okay to be honest. The burden you never mentioned, the pressure that has followed you even into this room. This is your moment to stop performing and just be. To let God see the full weight you've been silently holding. He doesn't wait for you to get stronger before showing up, because the truth is, God is not surprised by your exhaustion, and He whispers something gentle and healing. You don't have to be enough. I am. But real faith isn't about pretending. It's about trusting in the middle of the fear. It's about choosing to believe that even if you can't see the way forward, God can. Even if your heart is weary, God remains steady. Even if your situation hasn't changed, His promises remain. Let this be the part of the night where you come undone in the safest possible way. Not falling apart in despair, but laying it all down in surrender. He doesn't watch from a distance. He sits with you in it. And while you sleep, He doesn't. While you rest, He works. While you release control, He takes over with gentle hands. Quietly, gently, powerfully, like the stillness that follows a storm, like the warmth of sunlight after a long night, like the first deep breath after crying. To trust that God is not just holding the world, He's holding you. That He's not just writing stories of miracles in other people's lives, but in yours too. That He hasn't forgotten how to comfort. You only need to be here, right now, in this holy moment of surrender. And in this quiet space, peace begins to grow. Faith begins to breathe. And your heart begins to heal. Slowly, softly, deeply. That He hasn't run out of grace. That He's still close. This is what it feels like when heaven begins to cover you. The people I can't fix. The dreams that feel far away. The wounds that haven't healed. The fears that still whisper in the dark. I lay them at your feet, and I choose rest. It's waiting for you to receive, to rest, to be held. You are not alone on this night. God is here, and He will cover you in peace. Not because everything is fixed, but because I trust you're still writing a beautiful ending. One that I may not see yet, but is already unfolding. You weren't made to handle everything on your own. That was never the plan. You were made to walk closely with your Creator. Space for clarity to enter. Space for joy to return. Sometimes God won't answer your prayer the way you imagined, but He will always answer with His presence. And His presence changes everything. It doesn't just calm storms, it calms hearts. It gives you the strength to stand again, to breathe again, to believe again. And tonight, that's exactly what you're returning to. Not to have the perfect words, not to fix everything, to open your heart again, to say, I'm tired, Lord, and I need you. I don't want to pretend anymore. I want to rest in your care. This is not weakness. This is a sacred trust. This is holy surrender. You may feel forgotten, but heaven knows your name. Your tears are counted. Your sighs are heard. Your silence is sacred. It mayn't disappear completely, but it no longer has control over you. Lord, I give it to you. And as you say, picture your hands unclenching, your thoughts quieting. Your heart finds a rhythm of peace. Imagine what it would feel like not to carry that fear anymore. To let go of the story you've been trying to write on your own. To place it back into the hands of the one who already knows the ending. You're no longer trying to outrun your emotions. You're no longer pretending to be fine. You're here, fully human, fully loved, and fully seen. And there is peace in that honesty. There is rest in being real with God. You were never meant to fix everything before sleep. You were meant to be carried. And this is how that begins. By saying, Lord, I don't have the strength to figure this out, but I trust you to hold me through it. He's not disappointed by your weakness. In fact, he's drawn to it, not to judge it, but to meet you in it. He meets you right here, in the mess, in the questions, in the silent tear slipping down your cheek. So breathe slowly, as if you are finally exhaling all that you've been bottling up. And in that moment, something sacred happens. The pressure begins to loosen. The fear begins to lose its grip. Sometimes we imagine that faith means never doubting, never struggling, never feeling afraid. And one of those promises is that He is close to the brokenhearted. So now let's revisit that prayer. The one you whispered earlier. Say it again, slower this time. You see, you weren't created to carry the weight of your entire future. And what happens when you surrender? You create space for peace to rise. So if you've been feeling numb, if you've been feeling stuck, if you've been carrying something too heavy for too long, this is your moment. He hears that, He welcomes it. And even now, as you prepare for sleep, His Spirit is wrapping around your soul. Perhaps tonight is the first night in a long time that you'll truly let go. So let this be your prayer as you fall asleep tonight. Lord, I release it all to you. The questions I don't have answers to. You don't need to strive tonight. You don't need to earn peace. You don't need to solve what tomorrow holds. Heaven is near, and it's not waiting for you to perform. Now, before you close your eyes, I want you to take one more deep breath, not just with your lungs, but with your soul. Breathe in peace, breathe in stillness, breathe in the quiet knowing that God is near. He saw every moment of your day, every word you didn't say, every silent battle you faced, and still He calls you His. You don't have to earn that love, because tonight, right here, in this quiet moment, heaven leans close. God isn't waiting for a better version of you. He's already here for the one you are right now. Tired, uncertain, tender, but willing. You don't have to rush to feel better. You don't have to fake anything in God's presence. Just be here. Breathe, rest, be still, and know that He is God. Lord, I give it all to you. My fears, my worries, my questions, not just as a sentence, but as a shift. It's love covering the parts of you that feel unloved. Take a moment to reflect on what happened here tonight. Remember that heaven met you, that peace was offered, and you said yes. Sometimes, the very prayer that helped you sleep tonight is the one someone else is desperately searching for in their quiet hour. So, type in the comments, I receive your peace, God. Let it be your declaration. Let it be your turning point. Let it be your surrender in motion, where you remember who you are. You are not too far gone. Heaven is closer than you think. The arms of God are not just open, they are already around you. His angels are standing guard. His Spirit is hovering over your home, and even in your dreams, He is speaking peace, where you return to the truth that you are deeply loved, unconditionally, relentlessly, eternally, even now, that you didn't have to be strong to be covered. You just had to be still. Let them feel what you're feeling now, that they are not alone, that there's still comfort left in this world. Let go and let God cover you in the kind of peace only heaven can give. The kind that doesn't make sense, the kind that doesn't run out, the kind that wraps around your soul and says, "You are safe here. You are loved here. You are home." That peace is still possible, even after everything has happened. And when you forget, because you might come back, return to this moment, to this whisper, to this peace. It's always waiting. It's grace whispering into the cracks of your soul. And it doesn't end when the video stops. It doesn't fade when morning comes. It follows you. It goes before you. It surrounds you like a shield, a release, a sacred exchange. You're striving for His sufficiency, your control of His care, your burden for His rest, because that's what He offers tonight. Real rest, the kind that goes beyond tired muscles and reaches the ache behind your eyes, the kind that doesn't just help you fall asleep, but lets your heart rest while you sleep. My hopes, my sleep, my heart, I release it. I trust you. I believe you are still working. I may not see how, but you don't have to prove anything to be wrapped in His presence. You just have to be willing to let go. The one that says you're too late, too far gone, too flawed. Let go of the pressure to have it all figured out before you can rest. Not just because it helps us, but because it enables you to build a rhythm of rest and renewal. Every video here is created with one purpose: to lead your heart back to God in the quiet, to make a sacred space where you don't have to perform, where you can breathe again, where you can believe again. Maybe not the hills outside of you just yet, but the ones within, the ones built from fear, fatigue, and overthinking. Let go of the guilt that's been following you. Let go of the lies that whisper you are alone. And that willingness is enough. That whisper of surrender, that tiny mustard seed of faith, moves mountains in the unseen, even the ones you hide, that He's already gone before your tomorrow, already made a way where you see no way, already placed protection over the things you can't control, the ones that have made your chest feel tight and your hope feel small. Even now, they're starting to shift, because surrender is not a sign of weakness. It's an invitation to healing. It's the beginning of peace. And if tonight feels like too much, that's okay. He is holding every part of you. So if your thoughts begin to race again, return to the prayer. Whisper it once more. And as you say those words, let them soak deep into your soul. This is more than a bedtime ritual. It's a holy encounter. It's the Father drawing near to His child. So tomorrow, when you open your eyes, don't rush into the noise. And if this prayer spoke to you, if it reached a place in your heart that's been aching for comfort, don't keep it to yourself. And if you know someone carrying more than they can bear, send this to them. If you haven't already, subscribe to this channel. Let this space be a place where healing begins. So, as you drift into sleep, know this: you are not forgotten. You are not unseen. Rest now. In Jesus' name, amen.